Today, I'd like to start off my talk by stating that we have a problem. That problem being that our world isn't engineered for everyone. You're probably sitting there thinking, is that really such a big deal? Well, the answer is yes, and the evidence is everywhere. I'd like to invite you now to take a look around you, at everything surrounding you. This could be your phone, or even just the chair you're sitting on. And remember, every one of these things was made by someone. But here's the question: were they made for everyone? Personally, I first grasped the potential of engineering to make a real difference to people's lives during my work experience with a psychomotor therapist. Here, I saw how devices such as wheelchairs and balance boards allowed patients to regain their ability to move and engage with their environment. I even remember the look of relief on one patient's face when they stepped off the balance board, realizing they can now take small steps. Although this may seem minor, to them it meant hope. Hope that one day they could walk again. And remember, behind every single life-changing device like this, there was once an engineer. What does an engineer do? At their core, engineers are inventors. They solve problems. Everything around you began as an engineer's idea. But here's the catch. When most engineers come from similar backgrounds, often able-bodied, highly educated men, other perspectives can easily be overlooked. Now, this is not done intentionally, of course, but simply because certain challenges are invisible to you if you haven't experienced them. This is exactly why diversity in engineering matters. It is only with perspectives of people from different ethnicities, genders, disabilities, and life experiences that we can truly create a world that works for everyone. Devices such as affordable 3D printed prosthetics or voice-to-text softwares have already changed the daily lives of deaf individuals and amputees, and that is engineering at its best, when it empowers people. More specifically, voice-to-text tools are designed exactly to meet the communication needs that hearing engineers might not experience directly. And it's for this reason that these apps are often built with the help of deaf or hard of hearing engineers, because they know firsthand how isolating spoken conversation can be. Here's another example. Did you know that women are 17% more likely to be seriously injured and twice as likely to be seriously injured and 17% more likely to die in car crashes than men? Why? Because the safety systems in cars were designed primarily for male bodies. This just goes to show how engineering decisions without diverse input can fail half the population. Similarly, people respond differently to medicine because of genetics. But it wasn't until the 1990s that personalized medicine, tailoring treatments to different genomes, really took off. Today, it helps ensure that patients receive safer and more effective treatments. Electrical engineer and wheelchair user Rory Cooper sums it up when he says, "I know what it's like to come to a single step at a house or restaurant and realize I can't get in. And it just sucks." And it's experiences like this that drive his work, which includes designing wheelchairs that can go as far as to climb chairs. Engineering that isn't inclusive doesn't just create inconvenience. It can create real, sometimes even life-threatening problems. Now for the second question. How do we fix this? How do we engineer a more inclusive world? Really, the answer is simple. The people designing our world need to reflect the people living in it. The current state of engineering shows the stakes. In the US, a country where almost half the population isn't white, Black and Latin engineers make up for barely 5% of all US engineers. And even when it comes to gender, over 80% of engineers in the US with a bachelor's degree are men. The reality is that we need diverse thinking for three main reasons. First, it generates more ideas because people from different backgrounds notice different problems and imagine different solutions. Second, it makes for more informed decisions because perspectives vary and this makes solutions more robust. Third, it ensures a broader impact so that products and systems meet the needs of everyone, not just a select few. Besides, diverse engineering isn't just ethical, it's also a smart business. A Boston Consulting Group study of over 1,700 companies worldwide found that companies with above average diversity generated almost twice as much revenue from new products. This is because diversity fuels innovation, attracts customers, and drives productivity. Denmark illustrates this perfectly. There, 53% of scientists are women, and teams tend to be diverse across backgrounds and experiences. One example is Orbital, a DTU startup, Denmark's technical university. And in DTU's inclusive innovation space, a mixed team designed an eye-tracking device that allowed individuals with motor or speech disabilities to communicate. By designing for users often overlooked, the product became so strong it was acquired by GN Group, which is a leading hearing aid tech company. Now let's compare that to the US, with half as many female engineers, and where teams tend to lack diversity. There, products can miss entire groups of users. For instance, early voice recognition technology in the US failed to recognize women's voices because the training data was mostly male. While Denmark's teams catch these gaps early, US teams only realize them after they fail real users. How did Denmark get here? Through three key strategies. Firstly, early intervention. In Denmark, girls are introduced to STEM early and supported throughout their careers through national programs. This national effort began in the 1990s and has been reinforced ever since. Secondly, through strong gender equality policies established in 1978. For example, in Denmark, schools are required to monitor and publicly report gender gaps, creating accountability. Thirdly, through inclusive higher education. Schools like DTU and Aalborg University use collaborative, project-based programs where women and underrepresented students thrive, rather than hyper-competitive grading systems. Denmark's inclusive engineering sector Denmark's inclusive engineering sector was achieved through structural change, which then created a societal impact. And this took them close to 50 years to achieve, and is still not perfect. Although they remain above the European average, less than 40% of engineers in Denmark are women. And when it comes to scientific subjects, women mainly choose the same two, natural sciences and mathematics. We've seen that it's most powerful. Engineering isn't just about flying cars, rocket ships, and futuristic machinery. It's about improving people's lives. From wheelchairs to voice recognition software, engineering solves real problems that affect real people. We've also seen the consequences when diversity is missing. For instance, voice recognition tools that didn't recognize women's voices, or car safety systems designed for male bodies. Diversity matters because it generates more and better ideas and solutions that work for everyone. Countries like Denmark show how early engagement, inclusive policies, and collaborative programs create mixed engineering teams that design for all users. Essentially, engineering is about improving people's lives. For anyone in this room considering a career in this field, I'd like to encourage you to enter it with others in mind. And as my talk comes to an end, I'd like to invite you once again to take a look around you, at all of the devices surrounding you. Think of the bus you took, or the stairs you just walked up an hour ago. And think, was this engineered for everyone? Because when engineering embraces diversity, we go beyond creating better technologies. We build a more inclusive, a more equitable world. A world where everyone belongs. Thank you.